Hey folks, this is Colin Richards, president and founder of Lord & Richards. And once again, I'm delighted to be visiting with you about key economic principles that are going to help you achieve financial independence. And that's what it's about today. And especially with the markets in turmoil, it's a critical time to make sure that you have a written plan to achieve it. Now, in previous segments, we talked about how to create an economic bubble around you and your family. As markets surge and as they plummet, it can be very disconcerting. And one of the best things that you can do is develop a plan so that whether markets are soaring or whether they're falling, you are thriving. And so I'd encourage you to go back and listen to those segments on YouTube or on our one of our many podcast channels about how to thrive when markets crash and how to create an economic bubble around you and your family. And at the end of that last segment on the economic bubble, I kind of tipped us off that we were going to be talking about how foundations, institutions, endowments, hospitals, colleges, academic institutions, pension funds, how do these large, wealthy entities, some of the largest pools of wealth on earth, how do they weather the storm? Surely they can't be doing it just the way everybody else is in their 401k, riding the wave up and then coming crashing down, taking the roller coaster ride that's so nauseating. Many people are beginning to repeat the behavior that I saw people back in 2008 do. And that is they're not even opening their statements. They're sick to their stomach because it causes them too much worry and anxiety. Oh, folks, that's not the way to be. So much better if we can develop a plan to manage risk and learn from some of these powerhouse entities, how are they doing it so that they're not wiped out? You know, we love hospitals that take care of our children. The Children's Hospital here in Denver is one of those that has done a great job for my child. And I got to say, if they've got an endowment, which they do, they're not going to want to see it go wild any more than you as a prospective retiree is going to want to see that happen. So what do entities like that do? Well, they hire investment committees, organizations to develop risk management strategies so that not only can their endowment grow and serve the needs of their customers, underwrite grants, provide money for new research, therapies, and treatments for children, but also so that they have stability in that portfolio, right? Because nobody wants to see their portfolio going all over the place. So at Lord & Richards, we've done a deep dive study on how foundations and endowments invest. And we can learn from that and apply that together to your financial independence roadmap. Here's how they do it. Well, for starters, if you pull up an annual report, which is put out every year about how foundations and community, private foundations and other foundations invest, you can get a list of what they're investing predominantly in. And there's some familiar stuff like U.S. stock, equities, right? How about some foreign equities and stock? How about some fixed income, some bonds, some treasuries, some cash, right? But would it surprise you to know that one of the largest components of foundations and endowments is an alternative portfolio, alternative strategies that don't fit into the mold of stocks, bonds, mutual funds? You say, wow, I didn't know that. Well, now we do, and we can apply that. To invest like an endowment, there are going to be three things that you need right off the top. You need better skills. Well, folks, a lot of us are busy living our life, putting our kids through school. We might need a little bit of help on that one. Number two, you need longer, what we call gestation periods. You need to be willing to invest in tools where your money is held for a longer time, right? So that those tools are less volatile. So better skills, longer gestation periods, and usually higher minimums. Well, that can be a roadblock, right? Because if you're just Mr. and Mrs. Normal, maybe you don't have billions like these foundations and institutions and endowments have. Maybe you've just got a normal portfolio designed to get you through life. Well, these higher minimums have traditionally been a problem. But at Lord & Richards, we have cultivated relationships so that we can pool together the assets of many, many people and bring billions of dollars to play and draw in the institutional risk managers that normally would only work for pensions and foundations and states and religious organizations and so on. So it's pretty cool what we're able to do to help you moderate risk in your portfolio by drawing in some of the best wealth managers available out there. You say, well, what are they doing in this alternative space, right? I understand they're probably picking really good stocks and they're doing a good job with that. But if alternatives are ending up being somewhere between 25 and 50% of a foundation's portfolio, what can we learn from that? Well, every time we invest in alternatives, we've got a couple of different ways we can go. We can try to mimic the return of equities and try to get maybe even more on the upside, or we can try to mimic the safety of bonds. In both cases, there's problems, right? There's compromises. With equities going up, they can also go down. With the safety of certain types of bonds, sometimes their returns aren't very enticing. So the question is, are there alternative strategies where we can combine together the safety of certain types of bonds with the growth and the opportunity of equities in the stock market, and develop a tool and a process and an approach that we call institutional risk management. Institutional risk management. And there are some wonderful tools at our disposal at Lord & Richards. Traditionally, you would have to have large portfolios and satisfy large minimums to get access to hedging. This is where a small amount of the upside is taken away in exchange for more protection on the downside, so that you have a cushion beneath you, so that your portfolio can't fall as far as it would go otherwise. There are tactical strategies that we can get you access to that allow you to have a scientific and a calculus sort of method of moving assets from volatility to lower volatility during periods of market instability. And of course, you don't have to do it. We hire what we call chickens to sit on your eggs at Lord & Richards. And these wonderful folks are professionals at reducing volatility in your portfolio. And then we have other strategies that are maybe longer term that take advantage of limited access to reduced volatility. Some of these might be real estate or other types of investments, but they're called interval funds. That means you can only take money out at certain designated intervals. This keeps the portfolio from being too volatile. These and other strategies are a way to cushion the blow when the market goes down. And of course, still achieve growth when the market is going up. What's the compromise? Well, we've got some risk in there, but we're going to moderate that risk. In our next session, we're going to talk about how to develop an alternative strategy that has zero downside risk, right? For that, we're going to make another compromise. We're going to talk a little bit about liquidity. But it all really starts with a simple conversation about how we can help you develop a plan for financial independence using tools, methods, and strategies that aren't being commonly used by typical brokers and advisors today. I would love to chat with you. My team would love to chat with you about how you can take greater control of your financial future.